No one inside the Hong Kong International Martial Arts Center expected chaos that morning. Dozens of cameras were set up, lights were blazing, and fans crowded around the edges of the training hall waiting to see two legends, Jackie Chan and Steven Seagal, in the same room for a charity event. Most people thought it would be a friendly demonstration, maybe a handshake, maybe a few jokes, nothing serious. But everything changed in the span of 3 breathtaking seconds. Steven Seagal entered first, calm, silent, expression unmoving. He wore a plain black training uniform, loose sleeves, tied belt, simple shoes, no entourage, no flashy entrance, just a slow, steady walk, hands clasped behind his back, eyes scanning the room like he already knew every detail. People whispered, "Is that really him? He looks so serious. Bro, he's huge. Look at his shoulders." And then came Jackie Chan bouncing, smiling, waving at fans like the energetic legend he is. He slapped hands, cracked small jokes, and moved with the same playful energy that made him famous for decades. The room brightened the moment he walked in. But then Jackie saw Steven. He grinned mischievously, lifted a brow, and winked at the crowd. "Oh, look who decided to join us. The silent assassin himself." People laughed. Even some camera guys chuckled. Steven didn't react. He simply nodded, hands still behind his back. Jackie stepped closer. "Come on," he said loud enough for the entire gym to hear. "One little friendly spar? You won't break, right?" Still nothing. No smile. No frown. Steven's calmness almost felt intimidating. Jackie shrugged dramatically, lifted both arms, and said, "All right, let's warm him up." Before anyone could blink, Jackie suddenly dashed forward, jumped, twisted midair with perfect movie-like precision, and drop-kicked Steven Seagal straight in the chest. The sound echoed across the hall like a drum. Gasps, shouts, hands flying over mouths. Steven slid back 2 steps but didn't fall, didn't stumble, didn't even raise his hands to defend. Jackie landed cleanly, smirked, bowed to the audience, and joked, "See, he felt that." But what Jackie and the entire hall didn't know, Steven Seagal wasn't hurt, he wasn't impressed, and he wasn't even warmed up yet. Within minutes, the man everyone thought would stay silent would become the one Jackie Chan ended up begging for mercy. The buzz inside the Hong Kong International Martial Arts Center grew louder after Jackie's sudden drop kick. Cameramen adjusted their lenses, martial arts students whispered excitedly among themselves, and organizers exchanged nervous glances. No one had expected Jackie Chan to launch an attack so early, much less one that dramatic. But that's exactly who Jackie was. Energetic, unpredictable, playful. A man who loved turning any situation into a show. He spun around to face the crowd, arms out, smiling wide. Don't worry. Steven's fine. He can take a little tap." A little tap? Everyone who heard the impact knew it was far from little. Still, Steven Seagal stood silently, brushing off his chest like he had merely walked through a cobweb. His eyes didn't show irritation, or pain, or even interest. They just held that same steady, unblinking calm. The kind of calm that made people uneasy, especially those who didn't know him beyond movies. Jackie strutted closer, circling him lightly. Hey, you awake now?" Jackie teased. "Or are you saving your energy for the real fight later?" Steven turned his head slightly, just enough to look at Jackie. Not at the crowd, not at the cameras, just Jackie. "I don't spar for noise," Steven said quietly. His voice wasn't sharp or angry, just measured, like every word had weight. Jackie laughed, waving off the seriousness. "Oh, come on, lighten up. It's a charity event." People came to see action, not meditation. A few people chuckled, a few didn't, because the tension between these two legends was no longer small or playful. It was growing a slow burn that hinted at something much bigger beneath the surface. One of the organizers, Mr. Lee, approached cautiously. "Gentlemen, maybe we should wait for the opening announcements." Jackie cut him off with a friendly pat on the shoulder. "We'll be fine, Mr. Lee. Just warming up." Mr. Lee's face said he wanted to disagree. "But how do you tell Jackie Chan no?" The man practically breathed charm and confidence. Jackie continued circling Steven, bouncing lightly on his feet. "You know, Steven," Jackie said. "People say you're unbeatable, unstoppable, all that mysterious stuff." He mimicked a slow-motion martial art pose dramatically. "But today, we're just 2 performers showing some fun moves, right?" Steven didn't blink. "Performers? Maybe," he said softly. But not the same kind. Jackie raised a brow. Oh, really? What kind am I then? Steven took a single step forward. Just one. But the step changed the air in the room like a storm cloud rolling in quietly. You're fast, Steven said. You're clever. You make people laugh. Your skill is beautiful. Jackie smiled proudly. Well, thank you. I do try. Steven paused. But I don't do beautiful. Jackie's smile faltered just a little, just enough to show he wasn't sure where this was going. Steven continued. I learned to fight for survival, for protection, for discipline. That's why I don't perform for the camera. He turned away slightly, his eyes drifting over the watching crowd. And I don't perform for applause. A full hush fell over the center. Even Jackie wasn't smiling now, because Steven's words weren't bragging, they were a warning. Jackie tried to lighten the mood again. Okay, Mr. Serious. No need to scare the audience. He glanced at the students standing nearby and wiggled his eyebrows. You guys know me. I'm always joking. The students laughed nervously, but none of them looked fully comfortable, because Steven wasn't joking, and everyone could feel it. Jackie leaned closer, whispering so only he and Steven could hear. Don't worry, I'm not trying to show you up. Just giving the crowd a little fun. Steven replied in the same low tone. You jump-kicked me without warning. Jackie blinked. That was true. He scratched his head awkwardly. Yes. Well, you know me. I get excited. Steven stepped forward again, his presence filling the space between them. Excitement without control is dangerous, he said, for both of us. Jackie swallowed. Not because he feared Steven, but because Steven's calm was starting to feel like the opposite of weakness. It was confidence. Raw, unshakable, deeply rooted confidence. The kind that only comes from real experience, not from choreography. Before Jackie could respond, a crowd of reporters moved closer. Jackie, can we get a quick interview? Steven, are you planning to spar today? Was that kick part of the show or a real attack? Jackie waved at them enthusiastically. There will be plenty to see. Trust me. Steven didn't address them. He simply turned away and started adjusting the cuffs of his sleeves. Like a man preparing for something important. Something serious. Meanwhile, the crowd was buzzing. Jackie started it. Steven didn't even flinch. They're totally going to fight for real. Bro, this is going to be insane. The center was packed now. Phones were out. Energy was electric. But only two men in the entire building truly knew what was coming. One thought he was about to entertain the world. The other knew he might end up teaching the world a lesson it wouldn't forget. And neither had any idea how quickly things were about to escalate. The lights dimmed slightly as the organizers signaled that the warm-up session was officially starting. Spectators moved closer to the edges of the mat, phones up, screens glowing. Every eye was locked on Jackie Chan and Steven Seagal, two legends. Two completely different worlds of martial arts. Jackie bounced on his toes, rolling his shoulders. Steven stood still, hands relaxed, eyes steady. All right, big guy, Jackie said with an exaggerated inhale. Round 2. But this time, I'll go easy. Steven didn't respond. He simply shifted his footing, a tiny adjustment, one so subtle most people missed it. But Jackie noticed. Don't tell me you're taking this seriously now, he teased. I take all strikes seriously, Steven replied quietly. Jackie exhaled through his nose. Okay then. Let's make it interesting. The room hummed with anticipation. Jackie moved first. A fast sidestep, a feint, a spinning hand strike, a low sweep, all choreographed like fluid, beautiful classic Jackie Chan motion. Steven didn't block, didn't counter. He simply stepped aside each time, letting Jackie's strikes slice through empty air. Jackie straightened his posture, eyes widening a little. You dodged that? Steven nodded. And I didn't even move fast. The audience murmured. It wasn't mocking, it was disbelief. Jackie tried again, this time increasing speed. He leapt, twisted, kicked high. Steven glided backward, his movements minimal but perfectly timed. Jackie landed, wiping sweat from his brow. Okay, now I'm warmed up. He lunged forward with a punch, a playful one, but still precise. Steven raised one hand slowly and caught Jackie's fist. Effortlessly, gasps from the crowd. Jackie blinked at his trapped hand. What, how's your grip so strong? Steven tilted his head. You extend too far when you punch. It leaves your center open. Jackie tried to pull back. No luck. Steven was holding him like he was made of paper. Jackie's voice dropped to a whisper. You're not kidding, are you? Steven released him. No. The playful grin on Jackie's face slipped away entirely. He stepped back a few paces, scanning Steven more carefully now. The joking energy was gone. The reality had set in. Jackie Chan was no longer entertaining a crowd. He was facing a martial artist trained in a completely different world. Jackie shook out his arms, took a deep breath, and then suddenly rushed forward again. This time, there were no tricks, no fancy spins, just pure technique. A straight punch, a short elbow, a sudden knee strike. Steven intercepted each one with calm, minimal motion. Tap, slide, redirect, off balance. Every block was soft, almost gentle, yet somehow it neutralized Jackie's attacks completely. You're redirecting my momentum, Jackie said through gritted teeth. Yes, Steven replied. You're predictable. Jackie's pride stung for the first time. Oh yeah? He snapped. Predict this. He feinted left and then delivered a surprise backflip kick, the kind he usually saved for movies. The crowd roared as Jackie soared backwards through the air, leg whipping toward Steven's head. Steven lifted one arm, one simple arm, and stopped Jackie midair, not with force. With direction, he let Jackie's momentum slide off his arm like water, guiding him to land awkwardly on one knee. Jackie gasped, looking down at the mat. He hadn't landed incorrectly in a stunt or fight scene in years. Yet Steven managed to break his balance with a movement so light it felt unreal. Impossible, someone whispered in the audience. Jackie stood up slowly, shaking the stiffness from his knee. This isn't movie fighting, Steven said. This is control. Jackie's breath grew heavier. He glanced around. Hundreds of eyes were on him. Expectations, excitement, pressure, all weighing on him at once. He forced a confident grin. All right, big guy. You win the warm-up. Now it's my turn to get serious. Steven raised an eyebrow. You weren't serious before. Jackie didn't answer. He rushed forward again. But this time he didn't go for the strikes. He went for Steven's center, trying to grapple, trying to lock an arm, trying to push him back. Steven didn't budge. It was like trying to move a mountain. Jackie grunted, pushing harder. Steven exhaled softly and shifted his weight. In an instant, Jackie's feet lost contact with the ground. He was lifted, turned, redirected, and placed flat on his back. No slam, no throw, just perfect Aikido motion. The room erupted. Jackie blinked at the ceiling, stunned. This isn't normal martial arts. Steven offered no explanation. He simply said, You fight with performance. I fight with intention. Jackie rolled back to his feet, a new expression on his face. Not embarrassment, but something closer to fear mixed with respect. Because this wasn't a playful spar anymore. This was becoming a lesson, a painful one, and it was far from over. For a moment, Jackie Chan didn't move. He stayed kneeling on the mat, one hand pressed against the ground, his breath unsteady as he processed what had just happened. The crowd wasn't laughing anymore. There were no cheers, no playful reactions, only a thick, tense silence floating through the martial arts center. Steven Seagal wasn't showing off. He wasn't smiling or taunting. He simply stood with that same composed posture, hands relaxed at his sides, like everything happening around him was completely under control. A young martial arts student whispered to his friend, Did Jackie just get folded? Another answered softly, That wasn't even a throw. He just moved him. Camera lenses zoomed in. News reporters stopped taking notes and just stared. Students who had grown up idolizing Jackie's stunts were now realizing they were witnessing something very different from choreography. Jackie pushed himself up slowly, brushing dust off his pant leg. His voice was shaky, but trying not to show it. Okay. Nice technique, very smooth. He forced a laugh. Didn't expect that. Steven inclined his head slightly. I didn't want you to get hurt. Jackie blinked. Get hurt? Me? But the words didn't hit with his usual confidence. There was a tremble underneath one, Steven noticed. Jackie took a step back, trying to regain composure. He looked around, expecting at least a few chuckles. A bit of support, some friendly cheering. Instead, he saw wide, stunned eyes. Even his own stunt team standing in a corner were frozen. One of them whispered, Boss has never been handled like that. Jackie swallowed hard. This wasn't going according to his script. Trying to lighten the mood, Jackie shouted to the crowd, All right, who wants to see a real fight? Half-hearted cheers came back. They weren't convinced anymore. Steven sighed softly, almost disappointed. This is not a fight, Jackie. It's a demonstration. Jackie frowned. To show what? Steven stepped forward, and the subtle heaviness in the air grew. To show what control really looks like. Before Jackie could respond, Steven raised his hand slowly. Not to strike, not to threaten, just a calm invitation. Come. Jackie hesitated. That single moment, a split second of uncertainty from a man who spent his entire career doing fearless stunts, was enough for the entire room to feel the shift. Jackie exhaled sharply. Fine. He moved again, but more cautiously this time. No big jumps, no risky tricks, just solid, rooted martial arts. A quick jab toward the shoulder, a low kick toward the shin, a surprise elbow near the ribs. Steven intercepted everything with small motions, almost invisible motions. He didn't overpower Jackie. He redirected him. Tap, guide, shift, like he was controlling a river's flow with 2 fingers. Jackie grunted, trying to increase pressure, but Steven kept dispersing it. The audience watched in awe as Jackie's attacks turned into awkward steps, unbalanced slips, and redirected force. It looked like Steven was reading every movement before Jackie even completed it. Stop predicting me, Jackie snapped. I'm not predicting, Steven said calmly. You're repeating. Jackie froze for a second, insulted. Repeating? I just improvised an entirely new. Steven cut him off gently. You think with speed. I think with stillness. Jackie felt heat rush to his cheeks. He wasn't used to being taught lessons mid-fight, especially not by someone who seemed to be moving half as much and accomplishing twice as much. Suddenly, Steven shifted his weight. Just one step, but Jackie felt it. His instincts screamed danger. He stepped back quickly, too quickly, tripping slightly on his own heel. The crowd gasped. Jackie caught himself. But the stumble had been seen by everyone. Phones zoomed in. Reporters scribbled wildly. Students exchanged looks of disbelief. Jackie's pride cracked. He could feel it like a thin layer of ice beneath heavy boots. He straightened his posture, forcing confidence back into his voice. Okay, enough games. Steven looked at him with a hint of sadness. It's not a game. Jackie clenched his fists. Then fight me seriously. Steven stepped closer, his presence growing heavier. You're not ready for that. Jackie exhaled sharply, frustrated. He had never felt this mix of embarrassment, challenge, and curiosity. He spent his life mastering timing, rhythm, reflexes, and yet Steven was dismantling all of them without raising his voice or breaking a sweat. The crowd murmured again. Why isn't Steven even breathing hard? Jackie looks exhausted. This is insane. Jackie's chest rose and fell rapidly. He wiped his forehead. He wasn't done, but he was no longer the confident performer he had been 10 minutes ago. He looked at Steven not with arrogance, but with something closer to fear, respect, a trembling mix of both. Steven raised one hand politely. Jackie, you're pushing too hard. Jackie's voice trembled. And you're not pushing at all. Steven didn't answer. Instead, he took one small step forward, and the moment he did, Jackie Chan's survival instincts ignited at full force, because that step was not the step of a performer. It was the step of a man who could end the spar instantly, if he wanted to, and Jackie felt it deep in his bones. Jackie Chan stood in the center of the shattered dojo, chest rising and falling as dust drifted through the beams of broken lights. The chaos of the fight still echoed splintered wood, cracked tiles, and the faint ringing in his ears from Seagal's last brutal strike. But he didn't move back. He didn't waver. He stayed exactly where he was, staring at Seagal with a calmness that felt unnatural considering the storm that had just passed. Steven Seagal slowly pushed himself up, still clutching his side where Jackie's last kick had landed. His face, normally unreadable, had twisted into something between frustration and disbelief. You're faster than I expected, Seagal muttered, wiping the blood from the corner of his lip. But you're also predictable. Jackie tilted his head slightly, almost playful, almost curious. Predictable? You've said that 5 times already, he said, rolling his shoulders. If I'm so predictable, why are you the one struggling to stand? Seagal's eyes narrowed, icy and sharp. Because I've been holding back. Jackie smiled. He didn't believe that for a second, but then he felt it. Seagal's presence shifted, like a second weight dropped into the room, like the air suddenly grew thicker. For the first time since the fight began, Jackie felt a genuine chill run up his spine. Seagal took one step forward, and the floorboards under him creaked, no, groaned. "Let me show you," he said quietly, "what it means to fight without restraint." His hands lifted into a stance Jackie hadn't seen from him all night. This one wasn't flashy. No posing, no theatrics, just deadly intent. Jackie's expression tightened. He slid into his own stance, eyes focused, breaths controlled. Seagal struck first, a blur of motion far faster than before. His palm shot forward, targeting Jackie's chest. Jackie barely dodged, and even then, the shockwave of air brushed his ribs like a hammer had passed by. He wasn't bluffing. Jackie redirected the next attack, then the next. But Seagal was overwhelming. Each strike forced him backward. Each hit he blocked numbed his arm. And with every passing second, Jackie realized the truth. Steven Seagal had been studying him the entire fight. He'd learned Jackie's rhythm, his dodges, his angles, his patterns. This was no longer the same fight. Seagal caught Jackie by the wrist, twisted, and slammed him into the ground hard enough that dust exploded. Jackie gasped, the impact stealing the air from his lungs. "You see?" Seagal said calmly, tightening the hold. "This is the difference between a performer and a practitioner." Jackie winced, trying to free his arm, but Seagal had locked it with cruel precision. Pain shot through Jackie's shoulder. Seagal leaned down. "You should have never tried to kick me." And then something snapped inside Jackie. Not bone, not muscle, but resolve. He gritted his teeth, planted his heel, twisted his torso, and rolled out from under Seagal's hold in a move so unexpected even Seagal stumbled. Jackie sprang to his feet instantly, breathing hard. "Performer?" Jackie spat, wiping sweat from his forehead. "You talk too much." Seagal responded with a punch aimed directly at Jackie's throat. Jackie ducked, feeling the wind slice over him. He countered with a sweeping kick, but Seagal stepped over it and hammered down with an elbow. Jackie barely rolled aside, but Seagal didn't stop, didn't slow, didn't blink. Every strike landed closer. Every hit Jackie dodged cost him more energy. It was like facing a storm, one that didn't run out of thunder. Finally, Seagal caught Jackie by the collar and hurled him across the dojo. Jackie crashed through a table, wooden shards flying everywhere. He lay there, dazed, coughing as dust filled his lungs. Seagal approached steadily, each step a countdown. Jackie tried to rise, but his muscles trembled. His arms felt heavy. His balance was gone. Seagal stopped over him, looking down as if the entire fight had been a lesson, rather than a battle. "You had heart," Seagal said, "but heart won't save you." He reached down, gripping Jackie's gi. And that's when Jackie whispered, "You still don't get it." Seagal frowned. "Get what?" Jackie suddenly twisted, using the broken table pieces as leverage, and slammed both feet upward, striking Seagal in the chest with explosive force. Seagal stumbled back several steps, eyes widening. Jackie rose slowly, wincing but smiling through the pain. "I'm not trying to win," Jackie said, breathless. "I'm trying to show you something." Seagal steadied himself, confusion flashing across his face. Then Jackie added softly, "Even when I'm down, even when you have the advantage, I don't ever beg for mercy." But little did Jackie know, Seagal would be the one begging very soon. The dojo had fallen into an eerie silence broken only by the faint crackle of shattered lights and Jackie's uneven breathing. Steven Seagal straightened his shoulders, rubbing the spot where Jackie's double kick had struck him. It wasn't a devastating blow, but it was enough to shake him. Enough to make him realize that Jackie wasn't done. Not even close. "That was your last surprise," Seagal growled. Jackie gave a tired but undeniably cocky smile. "You keep saying stuff like that," he replied. "And it keeps being wrong." Seagal's jaw tensed. For a man famous for his emotionless calm, anger finally crept through. His eyes sharpened, his breathing slowed. His entire presence compressed into something colder, heavier like a storm ready to strike. Jackie felt that shift. He braced himself. Seagal lunged. No wasted movement. No flourish. Just brutal speed and bone-breaking precision. Jackie barely raised his guard before Seagal's fist slammed into it, sending a jolt up his arm. He stumbled back, but Seagal was already on him, grabbing his sleeve and yanking him forward into a shoulder strike that drove the air out of Jackie's lungs. Jackie gasped. Seagal didn't give him time to recover. A sweeping leg, a palm to the jaw, a shove that sent Jackie crashing into a cracked wall. Jackie dropped to his knees, coughing, vision trembling at the edges. The fight was slipping from him, and Seagal could feel it. Seagal stepped closer, muttering, "You fought well. But this is where it ends." Jackie tried to laugh, but it came out as a wheeze. "You've been saying that for the last 10 minutes." Seagal didn't smile. He reached down, grabbing Jackie by the front of his shirt and hauling him off the ground like a child's toy. Jackie's feet barely touched the floor as Seagal pinned him against the wall. "Any last words?" Seagal asked quietly. Jackie blinked through the sweat and dust. "Yeah," he croaked. "You're strong." Seagal raised an eyebrow. "But strength isn't everything." Before Seagal could react, Jackie suddenly brought both hands up, clapping them against Seagal's ears, an old stuntman trick called the bell ringer. The shock made Seagal stagger backward, dropping Jackie. Jackie landed on his feet, wincing, but alive with adrenaline. "You forgot something," Jackie said, rolling his shoulders. "I don't fight alone." Seagal's expression twisted. "What are you talking about?" Jackie pointed at the floor. That's when Seagal noticed it, the scattered debris Jackie had been subtly guiding him into. Broken wood, jagged planks, and splintered tiles arranged in a pattern that forced Seagal's footwork into predictable angles. Jackie had been planning, even while losing, even while hurt. He'd been turning the battlefield itself into a weapon. Jackie exhaled deeply, shifting into a stance that felt more grounded, more centered. "You're better at overpowering," he said. "I'm better at adapting." Seagal scowled. "Adapting won't save you." "We'll see," Jackie shot back. The fight reignited, this time with Jackie moving with a new purpose. He wasn't trading blow for blow anymore. He was using angles, environment, leverage. Every time Seagal advanced, Jackie sidestepped over debris, forcing Seagal's footing to twist or slip. A misstep here, a stumble there, a blocked view from dust. Jackie deliberately kicked up. Small disadvantages, tiny shifts, but together they changed everything. Jackie spun around a broken pillar, grabbed the loose rope still hanging from the ceiling beam, and swung forward, letting momentum drive his knee straight into Seagal's chest. Seagal groaned, stepping back. Jackie landed, panting hard. His ribs hurt. His arm was numb. His legs felt like lead, but he wasn't done. Seagal charged, furious, but Jackie moved with a veteran's intuition, letting Seagal's own strength work against him. A twist, a pivot, a redirect. Seagal slammed into a support beam so hard the entire dojo shook. Jackie backed away, gulping in air, sweat dripping down his chin. He could feel victory creeping toward him, but it wasn't certain yet. Seagal straightened, face red, breathing ragged. The impact hadn't broken him, but it shook him. He wiped blood from his mouth, eyes burning with disbelief. "You dare," he growled. Jackie lifted his hands weakly. "Yeah, I dare. And you should sit down. You're starting to sound like a cartoon villain." Seagal roared and lunged, reckless, furious. That was the moment Jackie had been waiting for. He sidestepped at the last second, stuck out his foot, and guided Seagal's momentum forward straight into the broken section of flooring that Jackie had weakened earlier with his own fall. The floor gave way. Seagal crashed through it with a thunderous crack, dropping to his knees as debris collapsed around him. Dust exploded upward, swallowing him in a choking cloud. For the first time since the fight began, Steven Seagal looked shaken, hurt, disoriented. Jackie stood over him, chest heaving, one hand braced on the wall to stay upright. Seagal tried to stand. His leg buckled. He tried again. His breath hitched. He glared up at Jackie, but there was something new in his eyes. Not rage, not pride, fear. "You," Seagal rasped, gripping the broken floor. "You tricked me." Jackie wiped his mouth. "It's called strategy. You should try it sometime." Seagal swallowed hard. His voice trembled. "Help me out of here." Jackie blinked. Steven Seagal, the unstoppable, unbreakable force, was finally begging. And this wasn't even the end. Dust drifted in the sunlight like slow-falling snow as Jackie stood over the shattered floor. His chest rose and fell in painful, uneven breaths. Every muscle in his body felt like it was screaming, but the sight below him made him forget his exhaustion for a moment. Steven Seagal, the towering, unshakable giant, was on his knees, one leg trapped awkwardly between the broken boards. His hands trembled as he tried to brace himself, the impact finally cracking through his legendary endurance. Jackie wiped the sweat and blood from his lip, watching Seagal's face closely. "Help me out of here," Seagal muttered again, voice tight with strain. Jackie blinked, surprised. In all his decades of filmmaking, stunt work, fights, and chaos, he had never imagined hearing that sentence come from Steven Seagal. "Are you serious?" Jackie asked. Seagal glared up at him not with anger, but with humiliation. "Yes," he forced out. "My knee, it's twisted. Just pull me up." Jackie hesitated. The man who had tried to bulldoze him minutes ago, the man who mocked, pushed, and tried to dominate every second of their fight, was now looking at him not as an opponent, but as a human being in pain. Jackie sighed and kneeled carefully beside the broken floor. "You know," he said quietly, "if you had asked nicely earlier, this whole dojo would still be standing." Seagal grunted. "Just help me." Jackie braced his feet, reached down, and pulled with all the strength he had left. Seagal groaned as his legs slid free from the collapsed planks. Jackie grabbed his arm and hauled the massive man toward stable ground. Seagal sat back against the wall, breathing hard, sweat rolling down his temples. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The dojo was silent except for the muffled noise of worried fans and crew outside, unsure whether to rush in or stay out of the chaos. Finally, Seagal muttered, "I underestimated you." Jackie raised an eyebrow. "You think?" Seagal avoided eye contact. "I thought this would be easy. A show for the cameras. But you," he paused, swallowing his pride like a bitter pill. "You fight smart. Smarter than I expected." Jackie sat down next to him, exhausted beyond measure. "You fight strong," he admitted. "Too strong." This was supposed to be a friendly demonstration. Seagal sighed. "I don't do friendly." Jackie smirked. "Yeah, I noticed." The two men sat in silence for several seconds, both staring at the cracked floor, the destroyed beams, and the ruined lighting. It looked less like a martial arts center, and more like the aftermath of an earthquake. Jackie finally spoke. "You know, Steven, there's a lesson in this." Seagal rolled his eyes. "Oh, great. Here comes the Jackie Chan wisdom." Jackie chuckled softly. "No matter how strong you are, no matter how many fights you've won, if you walk around acting like you're invincible, someone will eventually prove you wrong." Seagal's jaw tightened. "You proved me wrong today," Jackie shrugged. "And you proved something too." Seagal frowned. "What?" "That even the strongest man can fall. But only the wise ones stand back up, without blaming the whole world." Seagal glanced at him, the anger finally dissolving from his face. A long breath escaped him, quiet, defeated, but honest. "Thank you," he said. Jackie blinked. "For what?" "For helping me. For not embarrassing me in front of the cameras. For not finishing the fight when you could have." Jackie held out a hand. "Then promise me something." Seagal narrowed his eyes. "Promise what?" "That next time you step into a fight, any fight, you drop the ego at the door." Seagal stared at Jackie's outstretched hand. The silence stretched long enough for Jackie to think he might refuse. Then Seagal gripped it. A firm handshake, not of rivalry, but of respect. Jackie smiled faintly. "Good. Now let's get out of here before people start selling t-shirts about this." Seagal chuckled. An actual, real laugh. "Too late. I'm sure someone outside already printed them." Together, bruised and battered, the two martial arts legends stood leaning on each other for support and walked out of the destroyed dojo to the stunned roar of the waiting crowd. Some cheered Jackie. Some stared in disbelief at Seagal. But everyone witnessed the same truth. Fights don't create enemies. Egos do. And sometimes, the strongest moment a warrior can have is admitting he needs help.